It's been 1 month since I took delivery of this new long-range Model Y, and I have some thoughts. The experience with this car has been incredible. It's a great car for so many reasons, but I've also found a couple of small issues that I thought were worth pointing out. So if you're thinking about buying a new Tesla in 2022, and specifically if you're looking to get a Model Y, I have some thoughts on what you need to know before you buy, and also some thoughts after owning this car for a year. I went from a standard range plus Model 3, so I've got some experience going from a smaller battery to a larger one. Obviously, there's more performance with the larger Model Y. And also, I've got some thoughts on going from the Model 3 to the Model Y. Got a lot of thoughts, lots to get into. So let's just jump into my 1 month review of the Model Y. All right, so first things first, right off the bat, let's talk hardware. So this technically is a 2022 Model Y. It was built in December of 2021, but technically, because of how, well, Tesla and other auto manufacturers, designate their model years, this is a 2022 Tesla, but this Model Y is missing a lot of the newer niceties and the newer 2022 features. So it does not have the AMD Ryzen processor. It is missing the new lithium-ion battery. It obviously doesn't have the new, the 4680 battery pack. It doesn't have the double pane windows in the back. It doesn't have the heated wipers. This is a 2022 Tesla, but a pre-new, somewhat refreshed model. So basically, if you order a Tesla from now moving forward, there's a very good chance, especially with Giga Texas coming online, you're going to get a lot of those new features, the Ryzen processor, all that stuff. But this car does not have it. So kind of one of a weird little transition there. This car was kind of caught in that it is a 2022 model, but it's missing some of those newer hardware features. I do kind of wish maybe I had delayed. I mean, that AMD Ryzen processor is such a big deal, and it does do such a good job future-proofing the car that I do kind of wish I'd waited a bit longer just to have that newer stuff, but I didn't. So this has the older Intel Atom processor. It doesn't have some of the newer stuff. I'm in SoCal, as you can see. Don't mean to make you jealous, but it is a nice, bright, beautiful, sunny Sunday, so I'm not going to complain too much about the weather and needing the heated wipers, but it would have been nice to have some of that other stuff. So just to note here is that some of the newer cars have those newer features, but this one is a 2022 model, but it is missing some of that newer hardware, which is a bit of a bummer, but is what it is. I just decided to take delivery when I did, and this car was built in December. I think part of the end of the quarter push. It was also built in Fremont, so that's just sort of what it is. But hopefully moving forward now, if you order a Tesla, you will get some of the newer features. It should be a really nice upgrade. So with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the exterior stuff with the car. First up, the red color. I got a lot of questions on this. I went with the white color, and it was funny. I got the white on my Model 3 Standard Range Plus right before they decided to make it the free color, which is sort of a bummer. But this time here, I was thinking about white, but I decided to go red. I always loved the way the red paint looked on Teslas. I know there's rumors of a deep crimson color, but I love this sort of bright, sporty red. Super happy with it. I've gotten some questions about how it looks in terms of hiding dirt and stuff. I know black cars are super hard to keep looking clean. The red does a pretty good job hiding a lot of dirt. I took it through a touchless car wash yesterday, and because it was kind of a, janky car wash, it didn't do a great job. So if you really kind of come up here and look, you'll see there's water spots there, and there's some stuff right there, and you can kind of see on camera. It might be a little tough for the iPhone to capture, but suffice it to say, it does a pretty good job of keeping things clean and hiding a lot of smudges and stuff like that, and I'm just a huge fan of the way the red looks. And then I've also gotten some questions on the wheels. So I opted for the larger 20-inch wheels here with the Model Y for mainly looks. I just love the sort of red on black combo. I know, and I've gotten some questions about ride quality, that obviously the larger wheels don't give you as nice or as comfortable of a ride quality as you'd get on the smaller Gemini wheels. But I just love the way these look. I'm not a huge fan of the stock wheels and the 19 inchers on the Model Y, so I decided to go with this, and I have been very happy. I am a big fan of these wheels. And in terms of ride quality, I don't notice much difference from my Model 3 that had the 19-inch wheels. Maybe it's a little bit bumpier at times, but I'm just such a big fan of how these wheels look that I'm willing to put up with maybe slightly less comfortable ride quality. To me, the car is very comfortable to ride in, very smooth to drive, and I just love the way the wheels look here on the car. Some other questions I got was in terms of build quality. So obviously when you take delivery of Teslas, something that everybody loves to look at and some like to nitpick, is build quality. What are the issues? What is going on with the panel gaps? What's not done correctly? Stuff like that. And with my car here, there was really only one big thing that stood out to me. It was actually pointed out to me from an owner who was sort of examining his car in a parallel spot. We were sort of in a parking lot like this, and he had his Model Y here, I was here, and then he was kind of asking me about some things that he had noticed was wrong with his, and noticed if I had the same thing. And the thing he pointed out, which I think is true, is this gap between the back panel here with the trunk. Pretty good sized gap, especially as you can see right here in the back. You can see it up here too, and then just sort of, this isn't probably exactly aligned. Even you can kind of see here the misalignment here. And you have an almost, a different color here with the trim here and the trim in the back. I'm not sure if that is a thing with all Teslas. I honestly haven't looked that much because this trim looks the same, but this one here, let's see, look at the other side here. Honestly, it was just one of those things that I just it's kind of hard to see because the sun's on the other side, but it looks, it's not perfectly aligned. It probably doesn't look perfect. Obviously, like I said, there's that gap back there. But to me, it was such a small thing, and I'd already waited so long. I was just like, whatever. This is just another, 3 years with this car, so it wasn't a huge thing for me. If I was buying it outright, owning it, I probably would take a little bit more consideration into that. But all things considered with this, I wasn't too upset, and I just decided to go with it. So nothing too bad there. All right, so over the last month, there are a couple of things I've really come to appreciate with the Model Y, especially compared to the Model 3 that I just had before it. And one of the things with Model Y, obviously, that's so nice about it is space. A lot of nice space here with the car, specifically in the back. You're going from sort of a regular old trunk now to a much more spacious trunk space back here. You have, obviously, the powered trunk, which is nice, that you can control with the app, with the screen inside, and also with the buttons on the back. Something to note, though, is that there's no automatic detection for objects above or below. So I know my parents who have a Model Y, my dad had hit his head on the trunk as it closed. There seems to be no stopping mechanism, at least not that I've seen on the inside here. And also on the outside, I accidentally hit it on my garage door just because it went up and just didn't stop. So I guess that's something to keep in mind, is that there doesn't seem to be, at least from what I can tell, any sort of stopping mechanism with the trunk. But with that being said, tons of space back here. I have some 3D mats back here, brand new. I'll do a video on soon, but I put some custom cargo liners back here. So these are third party, and some seat protectors too that I'm finishing up. But plenty of space back here, nice deep pockets on the side here, on both sides there. You've got tons of space down there, and just ignore whatever that is down there, some cilantro. And also some lots of space down here. Let me go wide angle here. Lots of space down here as well. Tons of space, cargo space in there, much more than the Model 3, which I appreciate. So that has been nice. Also, the ability to fold down the seats with some buttons here that go down. They don't come up automatically, but they will go down powered with those buttons, which I have appreciated. But something I actually miss is with the front. So if my phone's going to focus here, there we go. Let me shut this. Love the powered trunk here on the car. Something I do miss is with the Frunk. So I love the Frunk. I love the space the Frunk provides. See here, plenty of space up top here, or I guess in the front here. But something I do miss that was on the Model 3 and Tesla took away a little bit, a number of years ago at this point, but I still liked, was they used to have these bag clips here. They'd have some clips that you'd have on each side that you could put grocery bags onto, take out food. I always stick food up here just so it doesn't infiltrate the cabin and start smelling it. I always put it up here, and there used to be some nice hooks for bags. Those are no longer here, which is kind of a bummer, but plenty of space here up front and also in the back as well, which I like. Still, if you're wondering, it's tough to close this. It's not really a one-handed operation. But they still sort of make it a little bit tough. Actually, well, see, it's done, it's closed, but not all the way. You got to really give it a little push there. So that's still a little tough to do, but still really nice. Then again, in terms of, interior, just tons of space up front and the back. We'll talk a little bit more about the interior in a minute here, but plenty of space, no issues here in terms of build quality on the inside or out. Lots of space here in the back. You can see the car seats installed, all good, and then just plenty of space back here. And one of the things I appreciate about the Model Y is it's just a little bit taller, so not only do you get a little bit more headroom inside, but you also obviously sit off the ground a little bit more than you would on the 3. So it's a little bit more of a, crossover, less sedan, but something I have liked. So tons of space in here, lots of storage, and I have liked and appreciated that on the Model Y thus far. Something else I have really appreciated, and something we just got to talk about and got to acknowledge, is the audio system. I've done a full video detailing sort of all the differences between the Standard Range Plus and the long range trims, so that's not a Model Y specific thing, but now that I do have a long range version, more than even the extra range, I love the audio system. So this has, a number of additional speakers that the Standard Range Plus doesn't have. It does have the amplifier and the subwoofer that you don't get on the Standard Range models. And the audio system experience in here has been really good. One thing I have noticed, though, and I'm curious if anybody else has noticed it seems to be sort of a trend on Teslas, at least on some Teslas I've seen, is a rattling with this speaker. It doesn't happen all the time, and it doesn't happen in all volumes, but if the volume in the car is like over 50%, and it's like a piano or something, or just whatever, I don't know what instrument it causes it specifically, but it does sort of have like a distortion, a tinniness, just with this speaker. None of the other speakers seem to have it, but something I've noticed with this one here on the driver's side, which I might make a service center appointment for, but as I've done some digging online, it seems like it is just sort of a thing that happens and no one seems to know the fix. It might be a software thing, actually, but it's something I've noticed here on my new Model Y. I noticed that day one, as soon as I drove it off the lot, it started doing that. So we'll see about that. I'll keep you updated. But the audio system is just fantastic. Again, I had the Standard Range Plus with the partial premium audio system, which is just not, it's nice, but it's not as nice as this. And I'm curious, actually, if you guys have better settings. I am by no means a audio expert, so this is sort of what I have the audio system at, just based off of a couple of Google searches I've done. But if you have a recommendation for everybody on the best audio system for the premium system in Teslas, let me know down below. We can sort of share our best EQ settings together, but this is what I've got. But just the system sounds incredible. The subwoofer is plenty powerful. Even you see I have it just up a notch or two. It's still plenty powerful. The immersion is really good, even just on standard. You're really sort of taking advantage of all the speakers on the Standard Range Plus. It's really just sort of front heavy because this is really the only active speaker in the car, the main active speaker, where obviously in the long range versions you've got all these speakers active and the subwoofer and everything. So really appreciate that. So audio system, if you're curious, has been fantastic. A really big fan of that. Something else worth mentioning, just to point it out, is that if you have an older Tesla and you're looking to get a newer one, one of the fringe benefits, obviously, of a newer car is that Tesla has more experience manufacturing them, and that is definitely apparent here. Even if the hardware isn't much changed year over year, Tesla's build quality has been better. So the ride quality is better in here. There's less cabin noise as I drive, even down to the buttons on the steering wheel. Everything just feels a little bit more refined, a little bit more well done, and more put together. I know this is a specific thing, but if you have a 2019, even a 2020 Tesla, and or especially say anything older, even like an older Model S or something, just something to keep in mind is that the build quality has definitely improved. All right, so I know this has been a lot of walk and talk with the car, so let me give some final thoughts and let you guys have my conclusion here and not bore you to death anymore. 1 month later, I love the car. I have no complaints. I am very happy to have made the upgrade from the Model 3 to the Model Y. I love the extra space. I love the extra range. I love the audio experience with the sound system. I am a big fan of the red and the 20-inch wheels. I have no complaints. If anything, the only thing I wish is maybe I should have waited for the Ryzen processor. Maybe I should have waited for those extra features just to have that. But of course, hindsight is 2020. And as of recording this video, Giga Texas isn't really even online yet fully. And who knows what's going to happen. So I could have waited 2 weeks or 2 months, 6 months. No one knows. So all in all, I'm very happy I took delivery when I did. I love the car. There really aren't any issues with it. Just a big fan of the looks. I'm a big fan of the functionality. And I'm just a big fan of Tesla. I love the software experience. I love what Tesla is doing, as you guys can see. And I love making videos on this channel. And a month later, I have no regrets. I'm happy to have made the upgrade. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. And if I had to go back and if I could change anything, I wouldn't change anything. I love this color configuration. I love the long range model. I mean, yeah, performance would have been nice, but I am very happy with the long range here. And I have no complaints. I really, really like this car. And a month in, I'm just more excited every day to continue to drive it and continue to enjoy it. So this is just a quick video just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a 1 month later sort of impressions on it, just sort of answer some questions I've gotten and just sort of give some thoughts on the upgrade from the 3 to the Y. And if you are a new owner joining the Tesla family, congratulations, you are going to love the Model Y. But as always, if you guys have questions, let me know down below. You know, this channel really started just by me walking around with an iPhone talking about the Model 3 back in 2019. So why not do it again? If you guys have questions, you have comments, you want to know something specific with the Model Y, let me know in the comments down below. I can cover anything you guys would like to see, and we can sort of talk about any changes that Tesla's making, anything you guys would like to see. And if you have any questions, just let me know down below and I will do my best to answer them in upcoming videos. And of course, I've got a lot of coverage planned and a lot of content planned around this car, including some of my favorite accessories. I've outfitted this car with some really cool accessories, some brand new that I don't think many people have seen before, some really unique ones that I'll be putting up in a video very soon. So stay tuned for some must-have accessories for the Tesla Model 3, Model Y. That's coming soon. But I think that's going to do it for a little quick impromptu video on my 1 month later with this car. Of course, leave those questions down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.